Hi everyone, it's Mr. Kaczynski. In this video we're going to find measures of complementary, supplementary, vertical, and adjacent angles. This is all part of section O of IXL's 8th grade math. So, just like in my last video, let's review what these four angles are. Complementary angles means that their sum is 90 degrees. Supplementary means their sum is 180 degrees. Vertical angles are opposite angles made by two intersecting lines, and we always know that they will be congruent or equivalent to each other. Their measures will be. And adjacent angles, they have a common side and a common vertex. So we'll try and use that vocabulary here as we solve these problems. The measure of an angle is 66. What's the measure of its complementary angle? Well, we know that if they add up to 90, that they are complementary. Okay, so one angle plus that 66 degree angle will equal 90 if they're complementary. So we can just solve that equation real quick by subtracting 66 from both sides. And 90 minus 66 is 24. So 24 degrees would be the measure of its complementary angle. Pretty basic math. All right, so now we've got a measure that's angle 50. What's its supplementary angle? Supplementary means they add up to 180. So we've got an unknown angle plus 50 degrees. And that equals 180 this time. So in this case, we'll just subtract 50 from both sides, and we can see that the other angle would need to be 130 degrees. Now these are adjacent angles. They share a vertex and a side. All right. What we're told is that their sum is 76.2. That's what that means. So we've got the 26.6 degree angle plus angle V, and together they equal 76.2. All right, no different than the ones we were doing before. We'll just take and subtract 26.6 from both sides. So 76.2 minus 26.6, that's 49.6 degrees. So angle V would have to be 49.6 degrees. All right, there are some trickier ones coming up. This is definitely not one of them. These two angles are what we call vertical angles. They are equivalent to each other. So angle T is 43.2 degrees. It should also be noted that these two angles are equivalent to each other as well, and that they are supplementary to the other two. So we could take it a step further and actually figure out what those are as well. But we have other things to do. All right, these are complementary angles. Okay, so n plus 54.9 equals 90. So let's just subtract 54.9 from 90, and we get 35.1 degrees for angle n. 35.1 degrees. Now we have three angles. However, they form a straight line. Okay, so if together they make a straight line, that means they equal 180 degrees. Okay, some might call them a linear, well, it couldn't be a linear pair because there's three of them, but a linear set, I guess. All right, so 102 plus 47 plus j equals 180. 102 plus 47 is 149. And then we'll just subtract 149 from both sides of this equation. And that's 31. So j must be 31 degrees. All right. Then, okay, so this is like a combination of a couple things. this angle Y and this angle right here are called vertical angles, so they're equivalent to each other. As well, we've got this 90-degree angle and this 90-degree angle, so this unknown green and this 64 are complementary because they add up to 90. And then we could use these two green angles would be equivalent to each other. So here we go. Let's go 64 plus, we'll call this one X right here. And together those equal 90. Okay, so we'll subtract 64 from both sides and we get 26. So if X is 26 degrees, then Y would have to be 26 degrees as well because they are vertical angles and vertical angles are congruent. These get kind of interesting, okay? So if you want to get a SMART score of 100, you have to know how to do these. The measure of an angle is 44 times the measure of its complementary angle. Okay, so we've got one angle and another angle that add up to 90 degrees because they're complementary. We've got one that's unknown and we got another one that's 44 times as much as the other one. So two angles, one's 44 times the other, and they're complementary, so they add up to 90. All right, well, combine like terms, we get 45x equals 90. And then divide both sides by 45, and we get the measure of the first angle, which is 2 degrees. All right. And then the measure of the other angle, which would be 44 times as much, would be 2 times 44, which would be 88 degrees. So those are the measures of the two angles. Let's do another one that's kind of like that with supplementary angles. So we've got one angle. An angle measures 76.2 degrees more than the measure of its supplementary angle. So we've got an unknown angle and another unknown angle, but we do know that it's 76.2 more than the other one. So we got the blue angle and the green angle. Unknown blue angle and the green angle 76.2 degrees more. And they are supplementary, so their sum is 180 degrees. All right, so we can combine the x's, make that 2x plus 76.2 equals 180. Subtract 76.2 from both sides. That would give us 2x equals 103.8. And then divide both sides by 2, and we'd have the measure of this first one, which would be 51.9 degrees. And then the measure of the other angle is that value plus 76.2 degrees more. So 51.9 plus 76.2 is 128.1 degrees. I've got one more here. I know that these are vertical angles here, okay? So that 25.8 degree angle plus angle Q equal 68.1. So just a visual representation of some adjacent angles and some vertical angles. All right, so that means Q would be 68.1 minus 25.8, which is 42.3 degrees. All right, so we just did 10 examples involving complementary, supplementary, vertical, and adjacent angles. I think I gave you enough here to go out and get yourself a SMART score of 100. You might make mistakes, but come back and watch the video again if need be. Good luck.